So for today, I'll be sharing with you a timely webinar that we're going to be having. It's coping with stress, anxiety, and fear. I know everyone has this kind of feeling right now that we are stressed, we have anxiety, and there are times that we feel scared or afraid with what's happening, especially at this time that we are working at home. Yeah? Kasi uh, the COVID-19 comes in, stress, anxiety, and fear. Right? Those three things would be coming from three main ideas also. Right? Uh, we have major life change. It would stress you out. Right? When you get married, when you start to work, when you retire, when you're laid off, it's a major life change that would change everything, and it would bring you stress, anxiety, and fear. There's also our catastrophic events. This COVID-19, it is a catastrophic event. We cannot control this. This is caused by nature. Other things like bumagyo or typhoon, earthquakes, those are catastrophic events. When it would hit us, we could do nothing about it. And it becomes stressful for us. It would become anxiety laden, and we tend to have fear. And another, of course, the daily hassles. We have daily hassles. Before we have traffic, we have going to work. We have to wake early, we have to sleep late. And of course, as an educator, I know you check a lot of papers, right? Yun ang isa sa mga stressful eh. Kailangan mong i-check, you have to check, you have to follow, you have to look on everything from writing the solution, having the correct grammar and everything, you'll be checking, right? And if you're going to be doing it, it becomes something that we get tired, and it would bring us stress, anxiety, and fear, right? So right now, we're going to be focusing on what transpired during the COVID-19 and the stress, anxiety, and fear that it has brought to us, right? We have to understand that not all stress is created equal, right? A certain amount of healthy stress is actually a good thing. When is stress good? When is stress good? When we are able to experience these things. We have the eustress and we have the distress. Fight or flight. Right? There are times to which we tend to have stress out in ourselves, and you would be able to look at it as a eustress and as a distress. Right? The thing is, who brings us stress? Sino ang nangi-stress sa'yo? Is it your neighbor? Is it the students? Is it your co-teachers? Or is it you yourself brings stress to yourself? Because you would be the one to categorize what type of stress are you having. In some cases, there are events that is stressful for you, but is not stressful for other people. And there are times to which what is stressful for them, it is not stressful for you. Right? So the thing is how do we react? Okay? Because you're stressed out, you experience the eustress, then you become better. You tend to create things that would make you be better. Yan yung fight na tinatawag. But there are times that we are distressed. Once that we are distressed, we look at stress negatively. Right? And that is the time that when we do the flight thing. Right? Kaya ka na-stress, ginalingan mo. There is at the time that you were stressed, you tried to make yourself better. At the time that you were stressed, you tried to enhance your capabilities. Or at the time that you were stressed out, you were able to make do of all the good things around you and be able to succeedingly overcome what you're facing. That's eustress. Right? This stress, you would pull out of what is transpiring at the moment. Okay? Lahat po tayo, every one of us, has our own eustress at the time of the pandemic. Right? May I see hands? Ay, ako naman magpaparecite ngayon. It's my turn to ask my former teachers to recite. During the COVID-19, sino po sa inyo, who among you learned how to cook? Yan. Learned how to cook during the pandemic. Sino yung mga natutong magluto all of a sudden? Meron po tayong Raise your hand or ayan, nagtaas na ng kamay si Ma'am Casey. Learn to cook. Yeah. Sino po sa inyo, who among you learned how to garden or to plant? Tanim-tanim naman ang peg nung iba. Ayun no. See? The COVID-19 brought you to learn new things. Right? It brought you how to be able to do new things, new stuffs that before you were not able to do. May you stress ngayon. The stress caused to you by being locked down was positive. You learned. Right? On the other hand, there are things that you would withdraw. Right? Were you able to experience all of a sudden you feel sad? Or all of a sudden you feel like crying? Or all of a sudden you feel like you don't want to do anything? Then there is distress. Right? Ayaw mo nang umalis, you don't want to do things, you just want to stay in a certain area, and that is distress for you. You're flying away from what is happening. In short, if you're going to have the eustress, it is actually necessary for individuals to make breakthroughs and companies to grow. Right? Once that we are having our eustress, you are forcing yourself to do good. Right? I would like to congratulate the teachers. Ayan po. I am in a school. I know how the LMS works. I know how the LMS works, the learning management system. And you know what? Your program is one of the best that I've seen. Ito wala pong halong biro. Wala pong biro. Your program, kasi po my kids are in their school, I was looking at their work and I was looking at their LMS. Alam nyo po, mas maganda po ang LMS nyo. Your LMS works better than other LMS that I have seen. Maganda po. Tsaka ano po, you are doing actual activities, you are doing actual lectures, you are demonstrating activities online, you are doing this and that. Ang ganda po niya. Right? Kasi po in other LMS, what I see, isasabak lang siya, they would just put it there and they would be asking students to answer. You know the difference? You were able to perform way beyond the parent's expectation. As a parent, you performed way beyond. Ang galing po. Congratulations po mga teacher ng Chiang Kai-shek. You did well. Right? At saka alam niyo po isang napansin kong maganda. One thing that I noticed, the students in your class, in your virtual class, they are disciplined. I suppose that is because you have, I know you have two teachers online. Yung isa yung nagmo-monitor and the other one was the one who's lecturing. I think that is a very good way to handle the students, and that is because you were stressed out, you were stressed by the school into trying to make adjustments in order for you to deliver the lessons well, and you were able to succeedingly do that. Bakit? May stress eh. Pag hindi ka pinressure ng school, if the school were not able to put pressure on you, would you perform? Diba? You notice sometimes when a certain company would not give you pressure, lax sa masyado, you would not be able to perform well. Why? Because wala nang i-stress sa'yo. When you are studying, when people are telling to finish your master's degree, may pressure, may stress. And because of that, you perform well. Right? That's what we mean that stress is also important in our work. Right? What's the difference? Eustress is motivating. It keeps you on task and helps you cross the finish line. Distress is debilitating and occurs when the good stress builds up and becomes too much to cope up. Eustress puts you in a better place. Distress puts you on another. Right? Negative work stress can come from a variety of reasons. Saan nanggaling yung negative stress natin? Where did it came from? Right? Let's try to look into this, and much probably you would agree in one or two things that we were able to talk to. All right? Number one, fear of being laid off or fired. A lot of people has that. They were scared. They had the fear that they would be fired or they would be laid off. Right? Same with the teachers. Right? There are lots of schools who are not able to give teaching load to their teacher Or in some cases in our setting, in the college setting, there are some teachers who are underloaded because there's no students who are enrolling, right? So there's the fear, and because of that fear, we are stressed, right? Because of the the the, the work from home setup, additional overtime due was given, but there are budget cuts. Simply like this: you work so much, but the pay was not there. Walang OT. You were not paid overtime. But you have to set up everything on your own way. You have to learn. You have to learn how to use Google Meet. You have to learn how to use Zoom and everything. Right? But one thing, you were able to do so. Kasi na-stress ka and you were forced to. And the good thing is, you were able to overcome. Right? To borrow a statement, I was watching one of our batches online interview with one of our teachers, and I was listening. Sir, limo ako. Sir, limo ako. Sinoutout ko si sir. Sir, hiramin ko po yung linyang ginamit nyo.
Yes.
Sir, hiramin ko po ha. It stuck into my mind.
Yes.
He was doing a lot of technology. He was learning a lot of technology because, sabi ni sir, he doesn't want that time to come in that his students would be the one to teach him.
Precisely.
Yes, it's really something that I have to look into consideration. Ayoko naman dumating yung time na yung estudyante ko pa nagtuturo sa akin. Right? That is brought by being stressed out and being able to come into consideration that I have to be working well, I have to enhance myself, and I have to be doing things that would put me in a situation that my school would see me as someone who is productive. Right? Hindi po ako pro-admin. I'm not a pro-admin type of person. But this thing is, as a teacher, it's my responsibility to enhance whatever I want. This is my product. This is my product. That's why I have to take another doctorate degree, because they are putting me in a situation that I would be placed as the chair of the psychology department, and I don't want to be left out that I am academically deficient with it. Kaya nag-take po ako ng pangalawang doctorate degree ko for that. Right? Kasi gusto mo, you always try to enhance yourself in trying to pursue teaching with our students. Diba? Gumawa po ako, I made my own studio, mini studio here. We have four mini studios in our house because my two kids are studying also and my wife is teaching also. So I have to make 4 mini studio. Right? It's overtime, but it has budget cuts. Yeah? There is also pressure due to constantly rising expectations. Right? It is already a means of which it's negative work stress because there's pressure. You are expected to do this and do that. You're expected to be able to have lots of output, and that is part of being able to teach. Right? Then there is also pressure to constantly work at peak levels. Right? Does the school employ for teachers that they're not allowed to sit down? Do you have that kind of rule? And anyone po from our teaching may answer? Do you have that rule? You're not allowed to sit down inside the classroom.
Yes.
Totoo po, meron naman.
Dati.
Yes,
Ay,
yes.
ngayon
True,
pwede
that's
na
true,
po.
Gary.
Di ba,
Yeah.
ma'am?
Can I answer that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
we
sir.
are not really allowed.
Oo. Alam
Kaya
niyo po,
dumami varicose veins ko. Oo nga.
no, alam niyo po, yun lang, that's a very simple thing. You are not allowed to sit down. But that is a burden into the work that we have. Kasi imagine if you have several classes and you have to stand up from this time up to this time. Di ba? Yun yung sinasabi mong physical wellness of the teacher. They have to consider those. Ngayon naman, doing online work from home. Instead of standing up, nakaupo naman. You spend lots of time sitting down. Eto naman ngayon. Humans are made to walk and not to sit down for a longer period of time. That is why you sit down for a longer period of time, you're stressed out. Tapos, ang nakikita mo yung screen mo, eye strain, physical strain. I-stress ka ngayon. Di ba? Alam niyo po, minsan after looking at the screen, pagtanggal ng eyeglasses, it's itchy or it's blurry kasi nagkakaroon siya ng strain. Right? And one thing that we found out, we discovered right now, in terms of negative work stress, is our internet connection. Yeah, how many times you have been blaming the internet as a source of your stress? Ganadong-ganado ka magturo, you are teaching enthusiastically, then all of a sudden, naputo lang internet. There's disconnection. Oh. O kaya yung
record na ko at internet
oh,
po too.
you have a unit that would boot slowly. Your computer is too slow. Pag nag-off siya, nag-brown out, yung nag-i-snap yung electricity and magre-reset siya. It would take you some time for you to be able to go back. So that's a negative work stress environment that you have. Right? There is nothing in the world that can trouble you as much as your own thoughts. We're going to talk about mental health because you have been into a stressful environment. You have been exposed to the idea that you are stressed. But as I have said a while ago, the trouble comes from your own thoughts. Right? Anxiety comes in when you're stressed. Anxiety is how your body's natural response to stress. It's a feeling of fear or apprehension about what's to come. Right? I-separate na po natin. When you talk about stress, you're talking about your mental mindset about what's happening, about what's going on. When your body would react to stress, then you have anxiety. Okay? Because of that, you start to be having the feeling of fear and you start to apprehend on what's coming out. Kaya nga a while ago I was telling you, there are times through which all of a sudden you start to feel teary. You just want to cry. Why? Because there's uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. Then your body is reacting. Then there is anxiety. Right? Now, you might ask me, is anxiety bad? No. Anxiety is not bad. Similarly to stress, when you look at it positively, the good thing is your body is reacting to it and therefore you would want to be better. Right? It is just that you are not supposed to reach the level of anxiety disorder, of which you start to react abnormally to the situation presented to you. It's very normal to feel anxious about what is happening this day. Everyone has it. What is not normal is when you overreact to what is happening. Right? Bakit? How would I overreact? Number one, it's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you have COVID. Right? But you have to look into consideration. It would be your fault if you are not going to follow a certain protocol. But still, I suppose you are a teacher and we know what is supposed to be followed and what are the things that we are supposed to be doing. Right? The type of anxiety is unpleasant, but it may motivate you to work harder and to do your job better. Kasi may anxiety ka na kasi meron ka ng stressful experience And because of that, you are motivated to work better. You are now using what we call as eustress. Okay? Not necessarily be able to work to the peak as such as when you are working face to face, but you are trying your best and you are trying to push yourself to do better. Diyan ngayon pumapasok yung tinatawag mong motivation. Ordinary anxiety is a feeling that comes and goes but does not interfere with your everyday life. Once that your anxiety is already interfering your everyday life, then that is the time that you would seek for help. Right? Kanino? Whom are you going to seek help? Initially, you are supposed to approach a person that you can trust. Right? Why? Diyan po pumapasok, that is where the psychological first aid comes in. What is psychological first aid? That is the person that you would be talking to about what you're experiencing. It's very important that you're able to release the tension. And the primary and the easiest way to have that is to have someone to talk to. And that other person would be doing nothing but to listen. Primarily, they would just be listening to you and the things that you'll be telling them. No need to tell them that you're supposed to be okay, that you understand. No, you just have to listen, right? Because that's ordinary anxiety, okay? Once that the anxiety would eventually come in, you would be manifesting these different warnings of stress, right? Makakaramdam po kayo, you would be able to experience the stress level of which the body would be reacting through anxiety. Ano yan? What are those? Number one, you would be having your depressed moods. You may lose confidence, you become angry, you become irritable, or you become withdrawn. Right? You notice when you were working from face to face, when you go home, you're excited to see your kids. You're excited to see everyone at home. But eventually, you were locked down, and what happened was everything was everything is there, and you just see everyone what they're doing and what they have been doing, and you notice even the most little thing that they are doing, and you become irritated, you become angry, or you become withdrawn. Right? Nakikita mo na eh. Before you miss them, it's like I'm at work, I go home, I miss my kids, I miss my partner, I miss everyone at home, I even miss my dog. But at the time that you were locked in, everyone is there. When you wake up in the morning, you see them. In the middle of the day, you see them. Before you sleep, you see them. And every little thing that they do, you start to notice. And it's irritating for you. You start to be angry. You start to be irritable. And that is a sign of stress. Nade-depress ka na. Right? Do not use depression as a literal term. There are people who's using depression so much. It is abused today. When we talk about depression, we're talking about a mood that the person doesn't want to do anything. To the clinical extent, depression is supposed to be experienced by someone who is diagnosed. Kaya hindi mo lang gagamitin, you're not just going to use the word depression because you're sad. There are times to which there's a crossover between sadness and depression. Some people say, depressed ako, I don't want to go to office or I don't want to go to work. So what you would want to do? I'll just stay home and watch Netflix or drink coffee or those. Baka mamaya in the afternoon, I'll just go to the mall. You're not depressed. Why? Because you still want to do things. A person who is depressed doesn't want to do anything. Right? And typically, they're angry with something, they feel irritated, and they would withdraw. Believe it or not, I have a case of depression. Nakakatuwa, nakakainis. It doesn't want to breathe. The person just doesn't want to breathe. Yun, that's depression to the highest level. The person doesn't want to breathe. Ending, she was sent to the hospital. Why? Kinukulang na ng air yung lungs niya. The person was trying to commit suicide. Ganun yung cause niya. Right? Another sign of stress, you lose interest in your work and a sense of apathy takes over. You don't want to work anymore and you feel like there's self-pity within. I don't have my savings, I don't have this, I don't want to go to work. That's a stress. Right? When you were doing your face-to-face, you notice a sign that you are no longer excited or you're no longer excited going to your work is at the time that you start to come in late. Doon nagsisimula yon. When an employee starts to be late in going to work, that is a sign that they are no longer interested to their work. It means that it's time for them to shift to another company or to another school or to another line of work. That's a sign. Why? They're being stressed out. Right? Eh bakit? You know, why would it work that way? Because when you're enjoying your work, stress is minimal. And stress is eustress for that. Yeah? I suppose I was able to experience not to be exaggerated. I was able to experience that I forgot that it's already our salary because I've been enjoying so much. I forgot that it's already our salary and one of my dean was calling me, "Ay Gary, i-donate ba natin tong sweldo mo?" Like, no, I will be going there. Why? Nakalimutan ko kasi I was enjoying teaching so much. Right? That is the time to which it is being experienced. Ito pa, you are unable to sleep or experience fatigue during the day. Right? Which part of your body aches when you're stressed? Anyone? Which part of your body would ache when you're stressed?
Chest.
Chest? Another answer. You notice
Headache.
it's located in this area. From your neck down to your shoulders. That's why when you're having your massage, when they start to do your shoulders, you feel relieved. Why? Your brain would be sending all the information to your body passing through this area. And there are times to which the information has been overloading. The processing is not capable. That's why when you're stressed, this one aches. That's when the time that you feel fatigued. Right? On the area of your shoulder. Okay? Isa pa, the sole of your foot. Sakit yung talampakan mo, yung sakong mo. Right? Number one, that's fatigue. Right? Pangalawa po, that's very high uric acid. Right? That's you're able to experience. Tapos ito pa, it's very difficult for you to fall asleep. You wanted to sleep, you have headache, but when you lie down, it's very difficult for you. Why? You're being stressed out. Right? We're going to do something about that later on. Okay? You have trouble concentrating. It's very difficult for you to concentrate on matters. Right? You have been very, very stressed out, and focusing on one thing makes it difficult for you. Right? You experience muscle tension. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina. Muscle tension, headaches, and stomach problems. The level of acid goes high because your brain wants to work well. It sends of oxygen to your brain, leaving your stomach with high level of acid. Right? Or you notice a decrease in your libido. Yung below the belt po, hindi ho gumagana ng maayos. Right? For some males, they have trouble with their libido. For females, they would also have to wala silang gana or they don't want to have contacts with other people. That's a sign that you're being stressed out. Right? Or as a coping mechanism, you turn to alcohol. And suppose yung drugs hindi natin sinasamin, but it's a part of coping mechanism that other cultures would be doing. Alcohol or drugs. They drink, or sometimes they do cigarettes, they smoke, in order for them to cope up because they felt like they're being stressed too much that they would just want to drink or to take a smoke. Right? Ang question, does smoking minimize stress? Does smoking minimize stress? Pag mga nag-i-smoke yan, I would be asking them, why do you smoke? Pantanggal ng stress, pang relief. Right? Kasi yung smoke eh. But the thing is, nicotine would tend to clog your lungs. And once that your lungs would be clogged, then that is a start that you're going to be having difficulty breathing, and it will become chains of reaction because you're stressed out. So it's another no-no when you try to look into relieving stress, alcohol and drugs, or even cigarettes. Okay? How about anxiety attacks? What are the common symptoms that you would notice to yourself that you're having your anxiety attacks? Right? Number one, your body reacts to stress and therefore you feel fainty or dizzy. Nahihilo ka. Feeling mo umiikot yung lahat. Okay? There is also shortness of breath. Difficult for you to breathe. You tend to dry your mouth, especially your throat. Right? You start to sweat even if it's cold. You have chills or hot flashes. Bigla ka na lang nanginginig without any apparent reason. Right? There is apprehension and worry. You start to become restless. There is distress. There is fear. And there is numbness or tingling. A certain part of your body becomes numb. Right? And you have these things without no apparent medical condition. You just feel such because it's anxiety. Okay? The key is to learn how to manage stress at work. So to keep it in a healthy level, and we have to make sure that it doesn't become overwhelming, right? Because of anxiety, there are times to which you might feel phobia. All of a sudden, you're scared of something without no apparent reason. That's because you're being attacked by your anxiety. All of a sudden, you start to be afraid of the thought of being alone, of being with this, or there are unwanted means that you are having. You're scared out of nothing with no apparent reason. All of a sudden, you're scared, right? Now, how do we do things to adjust to stress and anxiety? I have six. The first one is to form a positive relationship. Fostering positive personal relationship at work. Okay? Here's what to do. Start your own buddy or mentorship program. I suppose you have your own barkadas and you have your own friends in school. Di ba? And it's a way through which you could have a buddy, or you're not going to teach them. Senior faculty, you're not going to teach the junior faculty. What you're going to be doing is you have someone that you can talk to of a certain level, right? You can talk to a specific teacher because you would be sharing same thoughts. You're going to be talking about the same ideals, teaching profession. Di ba? Let's say a teacher, si Ma'am Delmo, can talk to her colleague, si Ma'am Liantada, and they would talk about a particular topic that both of them would be able to share the idea with. In that way, they're fostering positive relationships, right? They're talking about a specific topic that is common for both of them, right? Now, can we go over and talk about personal lives? Yes. As long as you trust the person and the other person would be able to keep it in confidence, not to tell it to anyone. Because if you're just going to tell it to any other person around you, it becomes a gossip. Chismis ang dating. Di ba? So you're having your own buddy or mentorship program. Would you consider putting down your smartphones? Would that be possible? Why? Smartphones disabled us to connect with people. Disabled us to connect with people. Di ba? It's much better to use your smartphone to call or to have a video chat with someone face to face, not through texting or through chatting. Why? It gives you space to think, and therefore the sincerity of the conversation disappears. Sino po sa inyo dito, who among you here would always send a message tapos delete to everyone? Unsend. Diba? I think Facebook has, the Messenger has that kind of feature that, through which you can unsend a message. Oh, hindi siya hindi siya cute. I don't think it's a good feature. Why? The sincerity of the conversation becomes insincere. Diba? You notice there are times that when you try to text someone, you have to think what to tell so as not to offend the person. As compared to talking face to face, may sincerity, meron siyang you don't have enough space to think on how to answer, and therefore the answer comes from you. Raw answer. Well, it fosters positive relationships. Why? You trust the person. You learn how to accept the person. Di ba? Instead of being able to text. Tapos, there are some people who enjoys scene zoning. Yan, mahilig mag-scene zone. Sa love life, meron naman ghosting. Ayan, sino na nag-ghost dito? Taas ang kamay. Di ba? They were ghosting you. Ayan, sila Helene. Hey, Helene, hello. Helene is my student. I think she's
Hello,
using
sir.
HR. Ayan, si Helene.
Hello, sir.
Ayan, na-ghost na siya.
Ala, hindi.
She was ghost. Ayan. No, because it's
Hindi
always
so.
it is always appropriate to have a good face-to-face conversation. Ngayon hindi pwede, but calling is one. Kasi pag text yan, nag-iisip. Right? And there are times to which you become emotionally attached with the message, not with the person. Now, we can also encourage, when we try to do positive relationship, we can encourage vulnerability. I cannot do this as much as you can. Then let's talk about it. And let's do something about it. We can collaborate. We can do things. Right? We encourage vulnerability. Vulnerable tayo. Everyone is feeling the same. And the good thing is, we recognize it. It's not your fault. Oh. It's more of the positive idea. Right? And you enjoy those kinds of things. I'm weak, you're weak. Let's go together. Then we find strength with each other. And the last one, how about trying to host an interactive event? Anyone, any idea for your Christmas party? Are you going to have your Christmas party this year? Wala, ang lungkot naman. Walang Christmas party ngayon.
Meron.
How about having an interactive Christmas party? Oh, would you consider that? Having an interactive Christmas party? Nandito kayo, stay here at Zoom and you have your Christmas party. Oh, pwede. How about the food? We were trying to discuss in our group. Ang idea lang po, maybe you can pick out something. We give a certain amount of money. Ambag-ambag. In donation mo, yung ano mo. Tapos, someone would order from Grab the same food to be delivered to everyone. Halimbawa, Jollibee. And one is in Antipolo and the other one is in Cavite. They would be ordering Jollibee in Antipolo to be sent to this person. And the other one in near Cavite to be sent to this person also. Later on, they'll be eating Jollibee together. Pare-pareho sila. Oh, that's interactive. Oh, you can have your online bingo. You can have your online raffle. You can have lots of you can have games online. Oh. Alam niyo po one game that excites my students when we I teach group dynamics po kasi sa psychology. That's one of my expertise. Alam niyo po they enjoy so much playing touch the color. As simple as that. Touch the color. Everyone would be running around the house getting a certain color and will be showing it on their cameras. Touch the color, yellow. Nakatakbo yan, nakaganyan kagad sila. Tapos yung they're enjoying. It's hosting an interactive event as if you are on the actual environment. Oh. Tapos yung premyo, paano ipapadala? How would you be sending the prizes? GCash, Paymaya,
Gcash.
coins, di ba? Oh. And that way, you're not going to kill the spirit of the season. Oh. And at the same time, you have something to look forward to. So that's something. It's creating for a positive relationship. That's one. Another, you start exercising, or if you have been exercising, you exercise more. With its mood-boosting and endorphin-releasing properties, regular exercise is a natural stress reducer. Right? Do you exercise? Ayan, nakangiti na sila, sir.
Yes, Sir
Yes.
Gary.
Of course,
Yes.
you have to. Di ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir. That's true.
Endorphins, serotonin,
Yeah.
dopamine, happy hormones. Ma'am, natutunan ko sa inyo na.
Ah,
Yeah.
That's true. That's
Oh.
true. Very true.
At least you are supposed to be doing that 30 minutes every day. I'll give you two options. 30 minutes a day or 4,000 steps per day. Pili ka dyan. 30 minutes straight or you get 4,000 steps per day. It's exercising. Right? It's trying to be able to come out with good hormones in your body to be able to function, to be able to do things that would keep you alert and alive. Oh. Honestly, I was encouraging friends to exercise and there are some friends of mine who were doing those and some were not. Alam mo, those who are doing those, they would call me and they were very, very cheerful. We talk about things na nakakatuwa. Those who did not, ayaw makipagkwentuhan. They don't want to talk. Bakit? They're stressed out. Their body is down because they're not exercising. right? If you don't have time, try to do this in your office or during the time of your work, right? Well, you can start in your office, you launch a wellness challenge. A science department, math department, English or Filipino or yung department nyo muna. Timbang tayo ngayon, let's put on a weight, and later on let's measure again after 1 month. O kaya paliitan ng bewang. O kaya patagalan ng jogging. Or at least you're having a wellness challenge. It would be fun, and at the same time you're interacting with your friends and you're exercising with them, right? In psychology, we call it as the law of co-action. You enjoy doing stuffs if you are with other people. You enjoy doing things when other people are doing it with you. Those who goes to the gym, it would only take them about a month. After that, they don't want to go to the gym anymore. Why? They don't know anyone. But if you go to the gym with someone, it would take you a longer period of time to stay there. Bakit? May kasama ka eh. You're with someone and you're enjoying it. So launch a wellness challenge. Right? O challenge, no rice challenge. No rice challenge. O who would be able to withstand that? O, you can have those kind of simple activities, di ba? You can also have to switch to an active desk. You make your desk as your exercise area. Alright? You can have your desk with a stress ball. May stress ball, kinuha ng anak ko yata yung stress ball. Or I have an exercise tool with my hand and all those. Tapos, you can stand up and walk. You can take walking meetings also. Yeah? While teaching, you can have a walk. Pwede naman sabay. Di ba? Or while in a treadmill or while you're jogging or while you're doing things, or you just want to stand up and walk around your house. It's not a big deal. Your students would not be able to see what's in your background kasi PowerPoint nyo naman ang tinitignan nila eh. They're looking on your PowerPoint and they would be enjoying those also. So you have to start exercising. Right? Ito pa, another. You have to consider eating healthy and nutritious food. I'll be talking about food in the perspective of physiological system that we have. Many people turn to unhealthy comfort food as stress management at work. Why? Sino po ditong mahilig sa grab food? Sino po ang kompleto? Anyone here who has the complete app? Grab food? Food Panda? Ano pa isa? Lala food ba yun? Ano yun yung isa? What's the other one? Yung pangatlo. You have 3 apps that would have, and whenever you feel bad, you just have to swipe and the food is there. Alright? Many people would turn to unhealthy comfort food. Why? When you're stressed, your brain releases the hormone cortisol. What does it do? It would make you crave for salty, sweet, fat-laden food for the temporary pleasure they would bring. Is McDonald's food too salty? Is it too salty? Sino mahilig sa McDonald's dito? Who enjoys McDonald's? Is it too salty? Jollibee. Is it too salty, ma'am? Jollibee food?
McDonald's and Jollibee.
They're too salty.
Yes po.
Because you are not craving for it. Right? Your brain would tend to filter the idea that it is salty at the time that you're craving. So let's say I'm craving for it and I would be eating such, my brain would not detect that it's salty or sweet or fat-laden. Why? Because I have the cortisol, the hormone cortisol, filtering my brain to detect such. Why? Comfort food nga eh. What they are trying to have there is that it's giving you comfort. Right? It's giving you comfort because it's trying to put all the sugar, the salt, and the fat into your system, disabling you to detect that you're having such. In return, it brings you pleasure. Nag-e-enjoy ka. Try this. You are not craving for such and you try to eat. Mapapansin mo, maalat siya. Si Sir AJ, hindi siya nagkikrave malamang. Kaya nadedetect niya, he was able to detect that it is not salty. or that it is salty, right? That it is very sweet. But for people who are craving, they are not capable of detecting such,
Uniform mo.
right? Anyone here who enjoys the Coke float? You enjoy Coke float? Sino po mahilig sa Coke float dito? Pag uwi kayo, dadaan kayo dyan sa Masangkay. McDonald's ba sa Masangkay? O dito sa may Abad Santos, di ba may
Yes.
ano dyan? Tapos you would order Coke float. Andun lahat ng gusto mo mangyari sa'yo. Soda, you have the Coca-Cola, sugar. They would put vanilla sundae on it. Tapos to cap it up, they would put chocolate. Ay, naku, nandun na lahat ang ano mo. Ang ambition mo magka-diabetes. Everything is there. Di ba? Sugar or fat-laden food like pizza, burgers, and ice cream make us feel lethargic and less likely to tackle the problems that lay before us, which in turn only increases our stress. At the time that we're eating, we feel high. Diba? You feel good. Lethargic ka. But the thing is, it would only be temporary. Once that it subsides, then the problem is back. And it would only increase the stress level. Why? You feel bad about yourself. Why? The sugar is there. Right? Masarap ang sugar pag malamig. But for the temperature that we have, the climate that we have here in the Philippines, hindi. Right? Your body, women, female teachers, your body is only allowed to consume around 25 grams of sugar per day. Other than that, it goes to your built. Among males, we are only allowed to consume around 30 grams of sugar per day. Other than that, we go fat. Right? And at the same time, it contributes to us having the diabetes. That's one thing that we have to consider. That's why you are supposed to be eating healthy food. Right? What to eat? I would strongly suggest that you're going to be eating complex carbs like whole wheat, bread, or pasta and vegetables. Right? Foods high in fiber like fruits and vegetables, and superfood like dark chocolate and berries, which would contain mood-boosting antioxidants. Right? We're talking about original dark chocolates. I'm not talking about dark chocolate-coated food. Kasi merong minsan, they call it as dark chocolate, but it is written there that it's just dark chocolate-coated. It's not actually dark chocolate. So I have to look into that also. Right? We also take lean protein like chicken or food with high stabilizing omega-3. Right? Alam niyo maganda kay omega-3, it makes your heart healthy and it makes your brain sharp. Yeah. Sir, pwede ba si Century Tuna? Sige, may omega-3 naman eh. Yeah. And other than that, of course, it's more of chicken and fish. Right? It creates the nutrients that we are supposed to be taking in. What to avoid? What to avoid? Food that is high in fat like cheese and red meat. This would lead us to lethargy and sluggishness. You notice when we eat a lot, especially at lunch, and we try to consume lots of meat, we tend to become sleepy. Antok ang katapat mo dyan eh. Bakit? Kasi ano, the fat level enables us to do that. We have to burn it and we have to digest it, causing the brain to release, to put the oxygen to your stomach instead of your brain, causing you to feel sleepy. Right? Food high in refined carbs or sugar, which would cause your energy to spike up and to crash down. Right? You take in sugar. Yung mga mahilig po those who enjoys energy drinks. Right? You take energy drink, you have lots of sugar in your body, and the tendency is that the energy would spike up. Then once that it goes down, the body would crash. Right? Reminder for those who are going to be taking caffeinated drinks, energy drinks, and soda and all those, and you just wanted you wanted to work. It works after 45 minutes, and it works to the next 4 hours. So let's say I'm going to take energy drink. I expect my work to finish at around 12 midnight. I'm not going to take the energy drink at 11 o'clock. Why? I take it 11 o'clock. It would be mixed with my blood after 45 minutes. Right? So 11:45, I'm starting to be active, alert, and I finish my work at 12 midnight. and it would affect until 4 hours later. So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. 3 o'clock nagising ka pa. Cannot sleep. Ikot ka ng ikot sa bed mo. Why? Because of the level of sugar. Right? It would inhibit your ability to sleep. Okay? There's also the problem with nicotine, a stimulant that can boost your anxiety, and alcohol, a natural depressant. Okay? We have to sleep. We have to sleep. Right? In order to be able to reduce stress and anxiety, it's advisable to get enough sleep. You are supposed to shoot for 8 hours a night. Right? Sino po dito nakakatulog ng 8 hours? Raise your hand. Yung nakaka 8 hours po, honestly.
Ako yun, sir. Ako yun, Doc.
Yung mga sumusobra, sige, pagbigyan. 8 hours. At our age right now, it's always appropriate to get around 8 hours. Bonus yung 9 hours, but not below 5 hours. Sometimes you have to work and sometimes you sleep 6 hours and that. Meron ka pang deep sleep. Right? And when you do deep sleep, that is the time that your body is able to rest well. Right? Once that you're undersleep and you're oversleep, you would have the same effect. Headache. You notice that? Kulang ka sa tulog, sobra ka sa tulog, masakit ang ulo mo. It means. And everyone, you have to stick with a schedule. When you sleep at 10 p.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m., that's your regular schedule. Right? How about tomorrow and on Monday? It's a holiday. You don't have work. Can I sleep at around until 9 a.m.? I would sleep at 10 and I would sleep until around 9 a.m. Pwede ba yan? Can I do that? No. You stick with your schedule. Why? It would tend to disrupt your body. Avoid sleeping in on weekends.
Good luck sa akin.
Just know. Why? Because your body is already working on a rhythmic mood. That is the time that you will be able to relax. Oh. And of course, you are supposed to experience deep sleep. Yun ang masarap dyan yung what we call as you sleep like a baby. Deep sleep. It will keep your body resting. Right?
1 to 2 hours.
And here's another.
Certain
You turn off your screen 1 hour before you go to bed. And you don't snooze. Nag-snooze kayo?
Ko yan sleep.
Do you snooze? Anyone here who snooze? Yung you set your phone to alarm and 5 minutes pa.
Yes,
Oh.
true.
And sisirain, I'm going to break your rhythm. You know what? You snooze for 5 minutes. We have a 4-hour sleep cycle in order to sleep. Yung alpha, beta, deep sleep, tapos yung REM. Alright? Ano yung alpha? Alpha sleep is when you feel sleepy. Beta sleep is at the time that you are close to sleeping deep, through which there are times to which you feel like you're falling, napapasipa kang ganun. Yan, natutulog ka kapag ganun. Right? Kala mo tumatangkad ka, hindi. Hindi siya nakakatangkad. Why? Your brain is trying to relax. And you would have your deep sleep. Then REM, that's the time that you're about to wake up. Your eyes becomes very, very active. You're near waking up. Then after that, you wake up. Right? Then here comes your problem. You snooze. What's the problem there? You snooze for 5 minutes and you would want to revert to your sleep for that 4 cycle. That 4 cycle is good for 4 to 5 hours. And you would want to try that in 5 minutes. Diba? Kaya nangyari, when you try to snooze and you wake up, you have your headache, you'll be in a bad mood, you don't feel like being able to concentrate well.
True.
Bakit? Because you snoozed. Right? You fixed in those 4 to 5 patterns of sleep of 4 to 5 hours into 5 minutes. Ay,
Tatlong
masakit talaga
alarm.
sa ulo yan. Oo. Kaya nagtatatlong
Tatlong
alarm
alarm.
ka pa. Nagtatlong alarm ka pa. Oh, it's the
Every
same.
15 minutes.
Oo. Right? You know what to do? You know what to do with that? You take a cold bath. You take a cold bath.
Before or after?
Before. When you wake up,
Okay.
you go to the bathroom, you take a cold bath. Kung if you still feel like sleepy, di ba? You wake up and you feel sleepy, you go to the bathroom, take a cold bath. Why? The cold water to tend to activate the electrodes of your brain. It would trigger, enabling you to be awake, and at the same time, you would be able to experience high level of activity and high level of focus and concentration. Oh, di ba? I was
Yes
into
po.
I am doing a lot of team building. When I do team building, we usually leave Manila around 3 or 4 a.m. And there are times that we are very very excited when we go kasi it's a travel and tour experience eh. Business and pleasure. We
Yes.
go to resorts and all those. And sometimes we're very excited that we have difficulty sleeping the night before.
True.
Alis kami alas 3, makakatulog kami alas 11, nagkukwentuhan pa kami.
Yes.
And I would wake up at around 2:30. Inaantok ka pa. You know what I do? I go to my bathroom, I take a very, very cold shower. Tapos to the whole day, I'm the lead facilitator. I'm supposed to be very, very active. At my age, I'm able to do it. Why? Because the electricity in my brain is very active. The next time that I would fall asleep is at that time that we're going to go back to Manila. That's around 6:30 or 7 p.m. Doon ako inaantok. But throughout the duration of my day, I am enjoying everything. Huwag ka na mag-i-snooze. Di ba? Stop snoozing. Wake up. Take a cold bath. Sir, takot ako sa malamig na tubig. Can I take warm bath? As much as possible, you take the cold one. Kahit mga 2 buhos lang yan. Right? O, ito ngayon. You are not able to sleep 8 hours. And we're aging. Right? Take naps. Take naps. Naps are 20-minute quick sleep. 20 minutes ha, hindi 2 hours ang nap. Right? Naps are for 20 minutes only, not for an hour or 2 hours. Uy, nagnap ako 2 hours. No, it's not a nap. Alright? You only take your naps for about 10 to 20 minutes. Power sleep. Right? So you're taking your nap, then all of a sudden you realize you have class at 1 o'clock. All of a sudden you wake up. You notice the sleepiness goes out. Why? It puts enough oxygen to your brain. Yeah. So get enough sleep. Do I agree with that? Can we make an agreement with that? Take a lot of sleep. Do a schedule of sleep. Right? If you would want to sleep in way in the morning, you make sure that you sleep at night. I'd usually sleep around 9 o'clock and I wake up at 12. I do lots of paperwork because the kids are already sleeping. And I would work around 12 midnight until around 2 or 3. Then I would sleep again. Diba? It's a bad habit, but you have to be able to get enough sleep. Right? O ito pa,
Yes.
might convince you to sleep early. Your body has a rhythm, and all the organs of your body is capable of recuperating on a certain time of the day. Right? 11 o'clock is the ideal time to sleep. Why? Because at 11 p.m., your
True.
liver replenishes. Right? The liver is your second brain. Makes your body work well. 11 to 1 a.m., your liver recuperates. That is the time that's your body clock. That is the time that your body is capable of recuperating itself. From 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., your heart recuperates. Not because you're broken-hearted. Oy, sa mga broken-hearted, hindi ho 1 to 3 yung recuperation ng heart, ha? Yung mga single dyan, yung mga broken-hearted, ha? Hindi po 1 to 3. The organ of the heart recuperates from 1 to 3. Yung blood mo. Diba? From 3 to 5, it's your digestive system. That is why at around 5 to 7, you're supposed to be able to release the toxin. That's the time that you poop and you're supposed to do that. And before 7 o'clock, you're able to eat your breakfast. Why? To prepare yourself 7 to 9 a.m., that's where your lungs recuperate. That is the best time to exercise. See? That's the circadian rhythm of our body. We have a system through which it contributes to the level of stress if you're able to follow,
Yes.
and it would tend to distract if it's very difficult for us to do. Yeah.
True.
And throughout the
True.
day, that is the system that we are able to have. Right? Now, prioritize and organize. During the time of the pandemic, we have to be able to set priorities and to be able to organize what we're doing. Number one, you clarify your goal. What do you want? What are the things that you really wanted to achieve at the time of working from home? Right? Is this my time for lesson plan? Is this the time for me to do the lecture? Is it the time for me to do the activity? You have to prioritize against goals. Right? During the parent orientation, I attended that, and I think it was Sir Jude or yung nag-orient ko, forgot, they were telling that this is the same as a classroom setup. It is just that you're going to do it online. Right? Now, I took it by heart. You know what I did? I created stations. I've been talking here since this morning. I'm teaching in a graduate school. Kanina may klase ako. Break time ko po ngayon. Mamaya babalik po ako sa graduate school. You know what? Whenever I'm here, no one approaches me. As if I'm not at home. All right? My kids would pass by, dadaan yan, kakaway, they would wave, they would say hello, but they would not stay long. Why? I'm at the office. I'm at work. Ganon din sila when they're in school. Minsan sumisilip lang ako, try to see if my son is doing what he's supposed to be doing. But for me, I'm here. I set up this thing. No one approaches me. Why? This is my office. Right? You just don't go having your class anywhere inside your area. You are supposed to set up a certain area para hindi ka stress out. Na in the middle of your lesson, biglang lalapit sa someone would approach you asking you something, and it bothers you. It creates a stressful environment situation that may pile up. Mabibigatan ka dyan. Diba? And once that you're doing things, you're supposed to focus on 2 to 3 things at the maximum. Do not do everything. Do not do everything at the same time. Right? When you do things, you set deadlines. Right? When the department head says the deadline is on Friday, when are you supposed to finish your work? If the deadline is on Friday, when are you supposed to finish your work?
Thursday.
I would love that answer, Thursday. Bakit? It would give me time
Chill na sa Friday.
to relax, and at the same time, it would give me time to check and recheck anything that I may have missed. Diba? If I would be able to have that, then it's fine. Then after the deadline, I would tend to relax. Diba? But never have the deadline on the deadliest deadline. Ganun tayo, no? Deadliest. Ano yung deadliest deadline? The deadline is on Friday. Sige, magsasubmit ako. I'll be submitting Friday, 5 p.m. Deadliest deadline. Friday pa naman. Sa work from home, di ba, we submit until 12 midnight. Right? Minsan, pag nakikita ko yung mga deadlines po natin, 11:59. Magsasubmit ka 11:58 or 11:59. It becomes stressful for you. Why? Daily life hassles. Okay? Make a to-do list and use your calendar. Right? You take care of your brain, but do not trust them. Do not trust your brain. Right? It would fail you, especially in terms of memorizing or remembering things. Right? Some of you might not, you're my teacher, but some of you might not remember me anymore. It's all right. Why? It's your brain. It's the work of your brain. Mas maganda pa rin yung may to-do list. It still works to have a to-do list. You list down the things that you're doing. Because sometimes, you just pile things up in your brain. At the time you become excited, at the time you become sad, at the time you become elated, you forget those things. Right? Especially we're aging. Right? The brain is toning down. Not similar to when we were young. That's why we have to prioritize and organize. In that way, we would be able to know the things that we're supposed to be doing. Then it minimizes stress. Right? Sino po mahilig mag K-drama? K-drama. 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 Ay, K-drama, oh. Who likes K-drama? Di ba, you subscribe to Netflix because you're watching this K-drama and Chinese drama and all those kinds of dramas na ano. Ayun, oh. Do you set time for that? Do you set time? And anyone po yung mga nagtaas po ng kamay, mga mahilig sa K-drama, do you set time? Oh, or you're doing it while doing other things? Oh, sir, I'm good at multitasking. You don't multitask. You alternate. Kasi hindi naman natin, the mind is not capable of multitasking. Eh. Right? But we can alternate. You're doing your notes while watching, then do and watch and shifting siya. Diba? The thing is, you're supposed to make a to-do list so that you would not be able to miss out a thing that you're supposed to be doing. It minimizes your stress. Right? And last one, you kick out your bad habits. Stay positive. One way to do this is to express gratitude in life. Well, you have to be thankful we're still here. Right? You have to be thankful that you were not able to lose your job. We're still earning. Swerte nga tayo mga teacher, ano? Di ba? Tayo ang huling-huling papapasukin ulit. We'll be staying at home and we will be earning from this. We're going to get our salaries from this. Di ba? It's staying positive. Right? There might be days that you're not well. Right? But I always tell people, I even have my own video telling people, if you want to write this down, feel free to do so. Share it to people that you know. It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life. Right? It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life. We always have that. We can always have a bad day, but it could never be a bad life. Right? It's staying positive. It's looking at things optimistically. There's hope at the end of this. You resist perfectionism. Don't fear mistakes. You learn from them. In life, there are no such thing as mistake, only learning. If you haven't learned, then you would continue to commit those mistakes. And you have to learn. It ends the mistake that you're feeling. And you start to forgive yourself. Keep on blaming yourself. Start to forgive yourself. There's no mistakes, only learning in life. Right? You resist perfectionism. We want everything to be perfect at times. We have to remember there are things that other people are not capable of doing. If you put that in mind and you put that into reason, into a good reason, then there's no way that you would be stressed out or you'll be feeling anxious. Why? I recognize that the person in my environment is limited to their own capabilities also, as much as I am. And the opinion of other people about you is their choice and it's their right. And you don't have any business with that. Kahit anong sabihin, whatever people would tell you, it's their choice, it's their right. Right? Whether it's good or bad, it's their option, it's their choice. Thing to do, ignore. Ignore. Right? If what they say is true, if what they say is true, sabi mo, chismis, but it's true, then change. But if it is not appropriate and it's not correct, you just ignore. Bakit? Pag pinatulan mo yan, if you do battle with their concepts, it would only gratify them. Diba? When you try to say something to other people and they would fight back, diba? It only motivates you. Ignore. It's the best thing to do. Silence is still the best. Yeah? Focus on what you can control. Much of the anxiety we experience is over the uncertainty caused by things outside our control. The COVID-19 that we are able to experience right now has brought us to work from home, and it's outside of our control. We can focus on things that we can control. We have been looking so far that the happiness and the contentment that you're looking for is in front of you, that you miss out. Diba? Ang lalayo ng tingin ninyo, you have been looking for afar, away. But there are things in front of you that you can do. Yeah? You have learned how to cook. You have learned how to plant. You have learned how to garden. You have learned a lot of things. And those are the things that you can control. And right now, the thing is we just have to wait for the vaccine. Sabi nila, they're coming. And at the time that we are in our homes, we can do a lot of things that we would be able to improve and to be able to enjoy with ourselves. And that is kicking your bad habits, right? We have to put in mind that managing stress at work is partially about your mindset. If you're able to put a good mindset on the things that we would enjoy, for sure we will be able to overcome the stress. Your outlook can have a huge impact on your ability to cope with everyday stressors. You have to put your outlook. Yeah? If this can be done, so be it. If it is not, then I go to move on. Keep them in check so they don't become a major source of negative stress. Stress is there, right? Most of the time, people just say, "Ay, stress lang ako, I'm just stressed," and it would pass by. Mawawala rin yan. No. You recognize that you're stressed and you're doing something for it. Give time for yourself. Have time for yourself to enjoy. Di ba? Yung nag-enjoy sa coffee, sa tea,
True.
enjoying
Yes.
a good nap, enjoying a good book. Di ba? There are people who enjoys good book. It creates
Yes,
creativity with them.
Yes, book.
Well, it's good.
that's true.
I will agree with that.
Imagination.
It creates creativity into your thoughts because you're doing imagining. Yan. Di ba? Yung mga teacher po ng anak ko, baka nandito po kayo. Ako po nag-edit ng mga video nila because I have to learn. Pasensya na po kayo, ako po nag-edit ng mga video nila. They're doing their own shoots and I will be editing. That's what I learned during the pandemic. I learned how to edit using yung mga videos. Dati kasi I don't have time to do that. And I started to learn how to edit. Yun lang ang yun lang maitutulong ko sa kanila eh. That's the only thing that I could help with them. Right? When they do their assignments, they just do their assignment. I don't mend with them. After doing the assignments, I'll just check. Minsan they would get a lower score and I would follow up, not to teach them. Yeah? Kasi may nakikita po ako yung iba, 'di ba, yung mga parents na sumasagot. And I think in one of the parenting seminars that I did, I was asking them to raise their hands, parents who's doing their children's work. Half of my screen, merong hands na nakaganon. Oh. Yeah. No, why would I stress with it's their own stress and it's their way of learning. To all of us, we have our own ways and have our own stressors that we're not supposed to belittle but recognize and to be able to come out with ways on how to adjust and of ways on how to handle those kinds of things. Right? So with that, I hope that everyone would be able to pick out something and would be able to recognize that stress is there and we have to look at it in a positive way and we have to look on it in a way that we can adjust and we would be able to overcome whatever stressor has been presented to us. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much for listening. And now we can have our Q&A and or any that we can clarify too. Maraming salamat po for the invitation.